Hi, my name is Imani. I'm a writer and astrologer, and we are doing a December synastry challenge on my channel where we're talking about all things in synastry. We started with moon overlays. We're two more left until we're done with Mars overlays, and then we go into Venus overlays. All right, so if you want to know what I say about all the tea in astrology, you gotta hit subscribe. I am still working on those Cap new moon horoscopes, but happy Capricorn new moon to you guys. I hope that today you found some clarity in what your next step is going to be for financial planning, for the career you're trying to build for yourself, or the purpose that you're trying to cultivate. I hope that you can look at the old things from a new perspective, because that's what new moons are about. And the influence of this will last for at least another week. So hopefully I get those horoscopes out by tomorrow. But when they're out, don't forget to read up in your horoscope so you can stay tuned in on what the energy surrounding you is like. That's the only way you're gonna know how to proceed, okay? And I'm here to help. But with Mars in the third house, I feel like you definitely met this person online, or you found this person online, or most of your activities, what you were impressed by, was something that you found about them through social media. Social media or like dating apps. But like most certainly Twitter. This is a third house, it's a communication. But with this overlay, the third house person talks a lot. Like being around Mars just absolutely stimulates them. And they just want to tell Mars everything about them, their backstory, their current story, their future goals, their philosophies, their travel stories, like anything under the sun. The third house person wants the Mars person to know about it. And the great thing about this overlay is that the third house person really finds a beautiful listener in the Mars person. And this is what makes someone a great listener. Someone who not only absorbs the information, but then also has feedback for you. That's what we want. Like, that's what we call a conversation. You know what I'm saying? The irritating thing about this overlay is that sometimes, most times, the third house person trauma dumps on the Mars person. They just love the fact that they have this connection, and sometimes they get a little carried away. They just sometimes be talking. The Mars person is like, are you not gonna ask about me at any point? Like, don't you want to care about what I'm doing? I love this conversation and I love hearing about your life, and your stories are genuinely entertaining, like have me belly rolling dying. But ma'am, like, the Mars person needs their time in the light as well. So that's one thing that this overlay definitely does have to worry about just off the bat, you know? The third house person usually has really strong opinions, and Mars likes that. Y'all know Mars is a little aggressive, maybe sometimes a little bit of a bully. But one thing about Mars, they're gonna stand up for what they want, right? So in this overlay, the Mars person really appreciates that they can just trust anything that comes out of the third house person's mouth because they know that it's the dead honest truth. And that also gives Mars the freedom to feel like, you know, they can also share their opinions and find like someone that they can bounce off of with the third house person. But sometimes the third house person isn't as open to others' beliefs, even though they want others to be open to their strong belief. That's something you guys can fight about over as well. Honestly, I'm gonna say there's kind of a lot of fighting in this one. Just like almost every conversation you have is just gonna be like, oh, like, you're irritating me. But it's genuinely good, interesting conversation. And as soon as you guys start to learn, you know, how each other's humor is, how each other's quirks are, how you guys really act in a conversation, then, you know, you won't be so defensive to certain things. You'll be able to be like, oh, that's just how she expresses that. Usually you two have very different, like, communication expression styles. So when you guys are talking to each other, it's like, wow, I've never met anyone that kind of like expresses themselves the way that you do. But it's very intriguing and it's very sexy. I feel like this is an overlay too where like the other person kind of have a very interesting accent, like, and yeah, you guys just love the sound of each other's voice. It's a turn on. One thing about the beginning of this overlay, the Mars person, very uncharacteristic for Mars, but in this overlay, the third house comes with so much energy that the Mars person is kind of like, they just get like super shy. And it's like with their friend, the Mars person's like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with this person. I can't wait till we see each other again. Like, I'm just dying to run into them. And then you guys will actually end up running into each other on the street or something, like, and you will literally, as the Mars person, run in the opposite direction. Like, the anxiety of running into this person becomes real at that moment, and then it's like, oh my god. And you know, no one wants to look dumb, so it's just like, you'd rather just run away and have that person think you're just weird instead, because that's like recoverable. But yeah, like, I feel like the house person finds it super cutesy, and eventually just like they get comfortable with each other and it just becomes like good times. A funny thing with this one, sometimes it's like the house person, like if both of you have siblings, the house person will have the perspective of an older sibling, like they'll be the older sibling in their family, and the Mars person will be the younger sibling in their family. So when they talk about things, it's like they're talking about things from a different perspective, and that's also something that like fuels the conversation but also causes a lot of debate. So like, not to be like weird, but sometimes talking to this person can feel like you're talking to your sibling. But like, obviously, like in a friendship overlay, that's the best type of relationship to have. But you guys also fight like siblings, and that can sometimes be like bickering and just annoying. But to turn it over back to romance for a second, with the Mars in third house overlay, you guys are definitely loud. It's giving like sex with the windows open. It's really giving like the Positions album and the Positions song by Ariana Grande. It's also giving 3435. But yeah, like the neighbors definitely know y'all's name. So yeah, I think that's all I have for this one. Check on the charts of your crushes and all those placements, and be ready. Venus is coming. Catch y'all at the next one. And happy holidays!